All right, so in this lecture, we're going to go ahead and start adding our first layer of shadows. Now, this process, it's going to be important that we really build things up slowly in layers. That's part of what's going to help us create such a realistic look, is that we're able to take a very balanced approach to the values and really make sure that we nail it. So let's go ahead and start with our first layer of shadows. This is going to be a multiply layer. So on top of my line art layers, I'm going to make a new layer. We're going to call this layer rough shadows. And we're going to set this layer to multiply. We're going to use, for this one, we're going to go with a sort of a green-blue for the shadows because he's in a sort of green foresty environment. And we want cool shadows because we're going to have warm sunlight. And we're going to come in here and start painting our shadows. Now, this is not going to be our really fine detail work shadows. This is going to be really big overarching shadows. Now I'm imagining that the light is coming from this direction. So that's going to mean that this side of his body is going to be what's in shadow. And bring that a little lighter. So I'm not worrying about necessarily the individual wrinkles and folds of his skin. We're just doing him as one big shape. And you know what? Let me use a different brush. I want something that I feel like I have a little more control over. Let's do let's just go with this. Maybe we should use that. Yeah, let's just keep with that, and we'll just have to be a little bit more controlled. All right, so getting this over here. Little cast shadow there from that arm. Probably going to come back in here with my soft airbrush so that we can clean up some of these edges here, soften up some of them. A little cast shadow from our little bird creature onto the branch. And then the tail down here will also be mostly in shadow. Have the face here. Eye. Okay, then we have the ear. Got the little horns on his head. And then those are also going to be casting a shadow, so don't forget about that. Okay, we got our little creature here. Okay. Getting those little shadows there on his feet. A little cast shadow from his head down onto his shoulder and his neck. All right, and let's come down here. Oh, let's do this other ear while we're up here, actually, before we forget about it. All right, and then finish up these little bits here and the branch. And then we'll kind of blend that a little bit more. All right, and then I'm gonna get my soft airbrush here. Let's switch to our eraser. And we're gonna come in here and just sort of soften up some of these edges where we want a little bit of a smoother transition. The ear here, and soften up that shadow a bit. Actually, that one should probably stay a little bit of a harder edge. Okay, soften up edges on this little guy here. All right, and then soften up that edge as well just a bit. All right. I think that looks about good. I'm just going to touch up some few spots here, like on the horns. tighten up the ear there a little bit. And I'm going to zoom out so we can see what it kind of looks like when it's small. Make sure we got our lighting right. I think that we can darken up this whole side a little bit more. And then I'm going to grab my eraser because we also want to pull out his lip here. Pull that out, go back to our brush. Gonna get a little bit more of a lip here along his top lip, a little bit of an edge. There we go. Helps give him some form. Excellent. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. Let's zoom in here on the face a little more. We need to get a little bit more detailed in here. Do the same thing along the eyelid there. And then grab our eraser and pull out a little light along the bottom edge there. Just pop in a few of these bigger wrinkles. Grab my eraser again. Like I said before, even though we're keeping it loose, you want to make sure that it's still roughly accurate. I'm not going super fine and detailed yet, but I am still trying to do the best I can to make sure that these are where I'm going to want these, so that when I do go to tighten it up later, I'm not having to do as much guesswork. You know what, let's just put this whole side into shadow, I think, honestly. Yeah, that's what we needed right there. Oh, and then you know what? That's what else we're missing. We need some cast shadows down here on these logs from these little creature guys. I thought there was something missing. Alright, there we go. That looks better. Alright, so Zoom out one more time, take one final look. Think that we can adjust this angle a little bit more. And there we go. Awesome. So that is it for this lecture, and I will see you guys in the next one.